Hello, everyone. Hi, Karen. I just want to get started by introducing myself. While I'm doing this, I'd invite everybody to type into the chat where you're from, who you are, maybe an interesting fact about yourself, so that we can all see who's here. I'm going to go ahead and get started just by introducing myself. My name is RyanHazen. I am I'm a lot of things. I'm a father, a teacher, a rafter, a hiker, a skier. But I also work as an online instructional designer and consultant with my learning consultants. I'm the Moodle administrator for Carroll College. I'm a chief mutineer of the Mountain Moot. I think this is my 8th or 9th year doing this. Dan Case originally started the Mountain Moot 11 years ago, and I came on board shortly after that. So I've been Moodling and administrating and helping folks Moodle and integrate technology. Before that, I was an 8th grade teacher. I was a communication arts instructor at East Helena Public Schools for 4 years. I did a paperless English classroom for 8th graders using iPads in 2011. And since then, I've been coaching faculty to integrate technology into their curriculum and create more interesting, socially connected, engaged learning experiences wherever I can. So I'm going to take a look at the chat here and see who we've got. Oh, great. Got a lot of folks here. Michael, it's good to see you again. Michael Spall has been mountain mooting maybe even longer than I have. So good to see you again there. Valerie, welcome from Florida. Karen, I love that you're an Excel geek. That actually really helps Moodle administration, and we're gonna talk about that here shortly. Beth, welcome from Rocky Mountain. Matt, good to see you again. Marjorie O'Rourke, I know we've met each other. I think we're here in Helena together. That's great. Deb, good to see you. Laura. Courtney, welcome from the Department of Transportation. And oh man, I see everybody's in here. This is awesome. Okay, so oh, Matt, nice shirt. I like it. That's good. So a couple of things before we get started. I am big into MootCoin. I'm like crazy about MootCoin. So if you've never been to a Moot before, you can earn MootCoin to buy and bid and get prizes. We'll send them out to you. So I award MootCoin for really good participation in sessions. So if you have good questions or good comments, please, you can unmute and speak up, or you can throw them in chat. Also, I'm big into awarding MootCoin for Twitter stuff. So if you come across something that's interesting that you can sort of put in 200 and however many characters it is these days, and you're on Twitter, go ahead and tweet it with the MtMoot hashtag. I'm going to put that in the chat. I will be going through and awarding MootCoins for tweets on that hashtag that encapsulate really good, useful, funny, or interesting things. Oh, Jeff, welcome. I'm originally from North Carolina, so I want to give a shout out to everybody that's from North Carolina. I did go to UNC and not NC State, so I mean, I know you guys might have some beef there, but I'm always happy to see people from the great state of North Carolina. That's where I was born. Michael, don't even start with me on South Carolina. I'm not even going to go there. Anyway, I want everybody to, first of all, get started by creating your very own Moodle site. So to really participate in this session, you will need to be the administrator of a Moodle site. And fortunately, there's a quick and easy way to do that with Moodle Cloud. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and I will get started showing you how to create your very own Moodle site. So first of all, here we are in the Mountain Moot Moodle. Moodle Cloud is just MoodleCloud.com. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that and put it in the chat, make it easy for everybody to get to. And so when you go to MoodleCloud.com, what I want you to do is try for free. So this little bit right here, try for free. I never really use Zoom's annotation, but it's kind of fun. And I started a North Carolina, South Carolina thing in the chat. I hope it doesn't get out of hand. Anyway, so what you want to do is you want to go to MoodleCloud.com and click try for free. And that is going to take you to a place where you can sign up. So see if I can get rid of this stuff. There we go. So I'm going to click on try for free. And I'm going to create a new account. And I'm just going to put my information in here. United States, Denver. And then under site details, this is where you name your site. Your site is going to have some subdomain.moodlecloud.com. So I'm just going to have MtMoot21.moodlecloud.com. And I'm going to put in a password, which you will not see. It's a very secret password. And I'm going to click I agree that I'm 18 and above. And I'm going to go ahead and click start free trial. So while we are relaxing and having our sites created, we can go ahead and I'm going to take a sip of water. And then I'm going to go to my Moodle site. So here comes my Moodle site. And there we go. I'm logged in. I have my very own Moodle site. Now I want to check in on chat here and see if anyone is, see if anybody's having trouble with this. I just want to make sure I don't leave anybody behind. I tend to do that. I kind of just roll through things, and sometimes folks, you know, get left in the back that don't have their Moodle site. So I would like, if you have a Moodle site ready, I would like for you to raise your hand in the participants area. So you can click participants and then put your hand up. Great. Oh man, this is awesome. Oh no, needy, a forbidden error. So let's see. It looks like media, it looks like you have a local firewall issue. It may be on, it may be that you're on a government computer or company computer or something that's preventing you from going there. All right, it looks like most of us are getting there. And if you want to put your hand up, just click participants down in the bottom of the screen. And then you should see an option to raise your hand. So there's a maybe a more button. Oh, media, it looks like Michael got the same error and resubmitted and it worked. So why don't you give that a shot? Great.
Raise hand is at the bottom of the participants list.
There we go. Yeah, I've had a lot of really neat, fun Zoom interactions lately with polling and breakout rooms and things like that. They keep adding features, but when they add features, they move the buttons on us. So,
Yeah, mine's under reactions. So under
uh,
reactions, you can raise and lower your hand, but then the other ones are above that. So just check below.
great. And the other interesting thing about this is that Zoom looks different on different platforms. If you're on a Chromebook or on a phone or on an iPad or a Mac or whatever. Michael, you're the only one on Linux. All right, so absent any comments that folks are having trouble, I'm going to go ahead and get started with the content here on how to be a Moodle administrator. So we have here a basic Moodle that is in the Boost theme, or well, a version of the Boost theme called the Moodle Cloud theme. I'll talk to you about that a little bit more later. But for right now, I want to get started on our activities. So first thing that we're going to do is create single courses, single users, and single categories. So let's go ahead and get started. So to add a new user, whenever you are ready to do pretty much anything as an administrator in Moodle, you start with the site administration button over here on the left-hand side. And that will take you to the site administration menu. You can see we've got tabs here for all of our different menu options as site administrators. We're looking for users. So go ahead and go to users. It's the second tab there. And then we're going to add a new user. So there are only 3 required fields. Username, or I'm sorry, 4 required fields. Username, first name, surname, and email address. So let's just make a student. I'm going to call it Ryan Student. You can call it whatever you like. You can call it Ryan Student too if you want to. And then I'm going to give it an email address, and this is a little admin trick, for getting started with users. I'm going to go at MtMoot.invalid. So email addresses in Moodle that end in .invalid tell Moodle not to send emails to these users. And that's what we want for this test student, because this test student is just for us to sort of get started. Now, if you do want to receive emails, you could obviously put in a real email address here and receive emails. So if you wanted to test how notifications work or something like that, you can always put in a real email address here. But for now, it's simpler for us to put an invalid email address. Also, another tip, if you use Gmail, you can alias your email by adding a plus at the end. So like I could do, like if I wanted to send something to like Ryan plus Ryan student at mylearningconsultants.com, that would actually send to Ryan at mylearningconsultants.com. But Moodle would recognize it as a different email address because I already signed up with Ryan at mylearningconsultants.com. So Gmail, I know, allows you to do this aliasing bit where you can say plus and then something at the end, and it will send to just Ryan at mylearningconsultants.com. So if you want to create a bunch of test users that go to your whatever your Gmail address is, that'll work just fine. But in this case, I'm actually going to do Ryan student at MtMoot.invalid. And we do have to put a first name and a last name. And then we can All of this other stuff is optional. You know, we can put cities, town, countries, description. We can even upload a user picture. I'm going to go ahead and do that just for fun. I happen to have a headshot I can use for this. So all you have to do is drag in an image off of your desktop or out of your file browser and drop it in here. And we can add a little headshot there so that we have this user. And the picture description is very important. That just tells anybody who is not sighted what that picture is. So I just put in RyanHazen so they know it was me. Now I'm going to go ahead and click Create User down at the bottom. And, oh, I have to put in a password. Sorry, I missed that. I'm going to do just Moodle1 exclamation point. So you can go ahead and throw that in there. Carly, that's a great question. You can force profile fields, and I'll sidestep just for a moment and show you how to do that. So anyway, I'm putting in Moodle1 for this Ryan student character. Now you all know the super secret password of my test user. You could log in and wreak havoc on my test Moodle if you want. So there we go. We've got me, Ryan at My Learning Consultants, and then we've got Ryan, student at MtMoot.invalid. I'm going to go on a quick sidebar just to show you how to force profile fields because Carly asked that question in the chat. You go to Site Administration, Users, and then User Profile Fields. And that'll give you the opportunity to create a new profile field. For example, if you wanted to create a new profile field, and then it'll give you the option to make this a required field right there. So now that I've saved these changes, anybody who logs in is going to be forced to respond to that. Notice that even I, the administrator, have this location 1 field that I have to put in. So I'm going to go ahead and update my profile. And there we go. The other, you can require the fields that are already in there. Let me see if I can remember where that is. I don't, but I'm going to make a note of that, Carly, and after the break, I'll show you where that setting is. Great question. All right, so now anytime that you're in Moodle, there's of course the breadcrumb trail up here. So just click home when you're ready to go home. We call that the breadcrumb trail because it takes you step by step by step back to home, just like Hansel and Gretel. And let's see, our next thing is we're going to create a new course. One thing I want to point out is that these links are all links to the Moodle docs on the stuff that we're talking about. So if you want to go look at the Moodle docs about adding a new course, for instance, you can click those links and they'll take you right there. But for now, I'm going to head back to my test site. I'm going to start in Site Administration. I'm going to go to Courses. Moodle docs are always accessible. Moodle docs are the public-facing documentation for Moodle. They're community sourced, so they're not like, you know, a complete user manual, and they sort of get updated for different versions. But anytime you go to, I think it's docs.moodle.com or whatever that URL root is, the Moodle docs are there. Moodle docs are absolutely a lifesaver. Use them because they, there we go, thank you, Randy, docs.moodle.org. So here we are again. I'm in Site Administration. I'm going to create a course. So I'm going to go to Courses, and then I'm going to go to Add a New Course. And there are only 2 required fields for courses. I'm going to call this Test Course 1. I'd invite you to do the same. You have to have a full name and a short name. Okay, so the short name is what appears in the breadcrumb trail, and the full name is what appears in the header of the course. I'm actually going to put full name after this just so I can show you where that appears. when we create the course. So I'm going to call this test course 1 full name. Short name is just going to be test course 1. Yeah, go ahead.
Did you now there's spaces. Did you purposely not put spaces in there? Is it okay to have spaces?
I think it's okay to have spaces. I never use spaces in short names. And especially if you're in a situation where you have courses happening over and over again, like a semesterly course for a college, you'd want to have something like, let's say we've got Math 101, Section A, 2021 fall. Like, you'll want to have some sort of unique identifier like this for your short name. If you're in a situation where, because course full names can be the same, but the short names have to be distinct. So let's say that you're creating a course that's, Math 101, but what's happening is there's section A, there's section B, there's section C, and then on top of that, you're going to have, sections A, B, and C in fall 2020, spring 2021, summer 2021, fall 2021. So while the course full name can be, oh, thanks. Yes, you technically can have spaces in the short name. But you have to remember that the short name has to be unique from all the other courses. So if you're in a situation where you're creating multiple courses across an institution, you'll want to carefully create a formula for creating your short name. So yeah, if this is Math 101, I've got to have some way to distinguish it from the others. So we don't have any categories yet, so we're not showing any categories, but if we did, we would select them there. The course visibility is, whether you want to show it or hide it, and then start date and end dates and description. None of these are required fields. So for right now, I'm going to ignore them. We're just creating this course. So I'm going to click Save and Display. And then it'll ask me if I want to enroll someone in this course. Let's go ahead and enroll our test user in there, just so you get the feel for this participant section. If you want to enroll an individual user, you go to the course, see this, my short name is up here, Math 101, and then the full name is displayed in the header. So I have Math 101A, 2021 FA. So I'm going to go in from the front page of the course. I'm going to go back into participants. Oh, Pam makes a good point. Nice spelling. She's pointing out that there's a single L in enroll users, which is incorrect, because I'm American. It's supposed to have two. I'll get to that in just a moment. So Pam, thank you for pointing that out. But when I click enroll users, I can then search for my users. So maybe I want to enroll this Ryan student character that I made. Here he is. I select him from this drop-down menu. I'm assigning him his role as student. I think that the teacher and student are pretty self-explanatory. Students have fewer privileges within a course and can't add or subtract or grade or anything. So I'm going to enroll Ryan student as a student. So I click enroll users, and then there he is. Ryan is enrolled in this course. And let's say I want to enroll myself as the teacher. Again, I'm going to go ahead and search for Ryan. We see that this is the account that I'm using right now. And I'm going to enroll myself as a teacher, which is probably a conflict of interest because I'm both the teacher and the student here. But that is how you enroll individuals in individual courses. I'm going to go on a quick sidebar about language, thanks to Pam's comment. Pam, I'm going to give you some moot points for that at the break. Also, Carly, for your question earlier about required fields, I'll give you some moot points for that. So in site administration, again, we're starting at site administration. Under the site admin tab, there is language, this area right here. And so I'm going to choose language packs. Oh no, it's not available in Moodle Cloud. Uh-oh. Well, suffice it to say, actually, you know what? I'll switch over to the Mountain Moodle and just kind of show you what language looks like. You notice this is pretty much the same. We've just changed the colors and such. So under site administration, under language packs, we'll see that I've got English, Pirate, and English United States installed here. You'll see these available language packs are here. Maybe I want to install English United States for K-12. I just select it, select install language packs. Oh, Cloud already has all the packs installed. Great. So I'll switch back over to Cloud and show you guys that. But the import utility is really, I think, pretty easy to use. So that's what it looks like on a standard Moodle site. But under language settings, we can change our default language to, for example, I'm going to go Pirate. Scroll down and click Save Changes. And then
we'll find it doesn't update that enroll users thing. I just tested.
The United States doesn't, or Pirate doesn't.
It doesn't seem to change what the double L you're talking about.
So I'm going to select from this drop down up here, English United States. And so now I'm in US English. And I should get a double L. Yeah, there it is. Enroll users. There's also a few other, like the OU deal. Mickey Pirate was a written language. I'm actually going to put it on here just for fun. So here we are, English Pirate. Let's see.
Does it need it set in your profile as well?
There is a setting in the profile for you can set your preferred language. I'm going to head over to profile and just kind of show that to you. So let's see, where is that? Oh, it's in preferences. My bad. In preferences, language preferences. Let's see, preferred language right here. You can set your preferred language to whatever you'd like it to be. I'm going to set mine to US. So that's a sidebar. And we are still looking at Pirate English. So let me see if I can find something fun in there. See, there we go. Nay groups are. Anyway, I'm going to continue on. Maybe we'll find a couple other little Easter eggs in there. All right. So we've enrolled a user in our course, we've created a course, and we've created a user. Our next thing on the list is to create a category. So again, I'm going to go to site administration. Under courses, I'm going to add a new category. And so categories, actually, you know what, before I do this, you can stay on add a category. I just want to show everybody what manage courses and categories looks like. Nope, that's it. There we go. So categories are the things that contain the courses. So this category right now, miscellaneous category, has Math 101, and that's the course that I created. And then Introduction to Moodle is the course that's auto-created with every Moodle Cloud account. So when I create a new category, we'll tell it what we want it parent category to be. I don't want it to be under miscellaneous. I want it to be at the top. So I'm going to choose top. And I'm just going to call this Ryan's Scurvy category. And category name is all that's required for a category. So I'm going to go ahead and create that category. And then you can see that we've got miscellaneous and then Ryan's Scurvy category. So if I open Ryan's Scurvy category, you'll see nothing's in there. The cool thing about categories is that you can create as many as you'd like, and they nest inside of each other like Russian dolls. So I'm going to create a new category, and I'm going to maybe call this for landlubbers. And then you'll see my scurvy category now has a for landlubbers category. And I'm going to create one more, and I'm going to call it for scalawags. All right. So now you'll see that, ooh, that's inside of landlubbers even. I don't want to do that. Here's a neat trick. You can check to select a category, and you can move selected categories to wherever you want to. For example, I want to put it on the same level as landlubbers. So I'm going to move it out to Ryan's scurvy category. And then you'll see we have both for landlubbers and for scalawags. I'm going to pause here for any questions on creating categories or courses or users or anything. You can either unmute yourself and ask them, or you can put them in chat. If you don't ask any questions, I am going to make the assumption that I have taught you perfectly, because we all know as teachers that when students don't ask questions, you've been a perfect teacher. Okay, Valerie, is this similar to how categories work in the question bank? Yes, it is similar to how categories work in the question bank in terms of you can nest them inside one another. Stephanie asks if these are like themes. No, a theme is a skin that you put over the Moodle. I'll show you that in just a second, but categories allow us to arrange our courses in a way that makes sense. And so I want to show you actually how I've used categories on this MtMoot site. So I'm going to go into site administration, courses, and then manage courses and categories. So here's how it works for MtMoot. Notice that this is the same as this. Okay, we're in the same spot here, but we're on the MtMoot site. So for example, inside of Commons, I have, if I go to Commons, you'll see that I have MtMoot Commons 2021 and that OPI renewal unit course, but we also have sandboxes in here. So if I go to Sandbox Courses 2021, you'll see all the sandbox courses that people have to work with. Also, you notice what I've done here is I've created categories for the days and then subcategories for the times. So this 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Montana time has the 3 sessions that are happening now. So when you go to the front page, you'll notice that I'm using categories to drive this combo list display so that you can see when you're browsing through these courses, what you're actually doing is browsing through the category structure that I've created for the courses. It's kind of a neat little hack that I use for the MtMoot Moodle. But for a more traditional Moodle, for example, when I'm working at Carroll College, each semester has its own category. So like fall 2021 will have its own category, and there'll be 600 courses or whatever in there. And then when I'm done with it and I don't want students to see it anymore, I click this hide button right here, and it hides the category and all the courses in it, so that when, you know, spring 2021 is over, we hide that category and archive it. And then we create a new category that's fall 2021, which is visible with the current courses in it. So categories are a way for you to manage courses in mass, but also to drive self-enrollment and stuff like we've been doing with the MtMoot. So these are actually all categories here, whereas students, for example, at Carroll wouldn't even know that categories exist. They only see the My Sessions bit that they're enrolled in from the front. Can you bulk upload course images? Double E, I think that, I don't know. Let me put a note to see if we can get to that. I think we tried to talk about this last year, and I probably tabled it and didn't do anything. But let me put a note there. Okay. So yeah, I know, Eric. Good to see you again. And so let's get on to our next bit here. Where are we? Intro to Moodle for administrators. So we've done adding a new user, adding a new course, and adding a new category. Now I want to show you how to upload users and courses. So when you're managing a Moodle at scale, you don't want to go through and create each individual course. You want to maybe have a spreadsheet that you upload. So what I want you to do is I want you to download the MtMoot course upload, this file right here from Moodle. That is a CSV file. So in order to create a CSV file is a comma separated values file. It opens in Excel just like a spreadsheet, but it's sort of the Rosetta Stone of data so that you can send information back and forth to programs or applications or whatever. So even though it's got that little Excel emblem, it's actually a .csv. So anytime you're going to upload in Excel or maybe from Google Sheets or even Mac Numbers, if anybody uses that, you can export as or save as, and it'll give you the option instead of the Excel file to save it as a .csv. And that's what you're going to want to use when uploading to Moodle. So first of all, this course upload, I want to show you what it looks like. So these are the courses that we're going to create. We've got 4 courses here. We got math course, science course, reading course, and history course. Okay. This is the information that's in that CSV. It's real simple. So we're going to create 4 courses. You determine which category it goes into by using the category column. And I want to show really quickly how to get the category. So if I wanted to go into for scalawags, for instance, notice I'm in my for scalawags category. The number you want is up here. So at the end of the URL train, there is a category ID 5. So if I wanted them to go into the for scalawags category, I would put 5 in this category column. As it is right now, though, it will go into miscellaneous because miscellaneous is category ID 1. Notice that up there in that trail. So when I throw in this course upload, these are all going to go into the miscellaneous category. Now, the Moodle docs for course uploads have a lot of fields that you can add to this. The only required ones are full name, short name, and category. You could, if you throw in a CSV with only these columns, then it's going to work and it'll create those courses for you. I've added some other ones in here just for fun. You can make it, if you put a 0 in this visible column, the course will be hidden. You can create enrollment methods, which is what I'm doing here. Notice that the enrollment 1 is self. I'm actually disabling enrollment 1, and the enrollment 1 role is student. This is the summary that's going to show up in the course summary. In other words, if I go to MtMoot and say I look at one of these sessions, maybe this admin session, this is the summary right here. So I would put this in the CSV if I wanted that to be in the summary. Brady, I don't know that there's a report that indicates the category. I bet you there's a custom SQL report, and I imagine somebody on this call might have some insight on that. So I'm going to table that for a minute, but yeah, there should be a way to do that. Okay, let me get back to where I was. Where was I? Oh, I was explaining the course upload. So the summary and then format, we'll talk about course formats a little later. The basic bit of a course format is, do you want the sections to be displayed as weeks? Do you want them to be displayed as topics? Those sorts of things. So now that we have that CSV, you shouldn't need to make any changes to that CSV that you downloaded, by the way. We can just throw it in and it should work. So I'm going to go to site administration. Again, I'm going to go to courses. And then I'm going to go to upload courses. So now all we have to do is drag and drop that file into into this area. Let me find my documents. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and drag and drop that MtMoot course upload.csv. You can download that again straight from the Moodle course of this presentation. Drag and drop it into the upload courses area. You'll see you have some choices here on what to do with these courses. One of the things that is really helpful is that you can update existing courses. So, and this has saved me many times. I have forgotten, believe it or not, to put a column in my CSV, and I've created, let's say, 600 courses. And I forgot something. So if I update that CSV with that column, and I only update existing courses, then it'll go through and make those changes. But right now we're creating new courses only. So that's what I'm gonna leave here for upload mode. So let's go ahead and click preview. And we'll see that this is what it sees. It's gonna create these courses. You can define default course values for anything that's not defined in the CSV. But for now, let's just go ahead and click upload courses. And great, we'll see that math course, science course, reading course, and history course have been created. So let's go and look under site administration, courses, manage courses and categories. And then there we go. We've created 4 courses right out of the gate. It looks like there's a typo in the user template. Let's take a look at that. Oh, it looks like, yeah, I did update. Some people are asking me, did I update the CSVs in the course? Yes, I did. So if you downloaded them in advance, go back and download the current ones. MtMoot, it should be MtMoot course upload and MtMoot user upload. So some of that, if you uploaded them before, maybe refresh the page, because I just fixed them up right before this conference, or right before the session. So if you refresh the page, you should see MtMoot if you got one of the old ones. So Beth and Pam, I think that's probably what you're dealing with. Sorry about that. So there we go. Now we've uploaded courses to the Moodle site. So we've got history course, reading course, science course, and math course. Now, in the same way that you upload courses, you can upload users. So I'm going to go ahead and open up this user upload, and we'll see that we have lots of different students and teachers who are going to be enrolled to the courses that we've just created. So I want to point out here that I've got a list of .invalid emails. So we're actually going to create these users in the system and enroll them in the courses all at the same time with one upload. So the required fields for user upload are these 4. You need username, first name, last name, and email. So I've created, just some students, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, with different, kinds of names and stuff. So we're going to upload these, and they're going to be enrolled in these courses as these roles. So in order
the column header is saying core 1, not course 1.
Oh, buddy, that's a good call. All right. So course 1, there needs to be an S there. So let's all open our, you know what? I'm going to fix it and I'm going to re-upload it to Moodle. But if you want to upload, yeah, I made that mistake intentionally. That's right. Thank you, Carly. Just to make sure that you guys are on your toes. So I am going to fix my CSV, and I'm going to upload a new one to the Moodle, or you can open your CSV and repair that yourself. So if anybody wants to see the fun teacher view here, I'm actually going to delete this user upload. Justin, yes. The answer is yes. Yes, you can enroll students in a course that have already been created. You don't have to be creating them. You don't have to be creating them in order for this to work. So I fixed my document. So if you just want to download a different version, there's one there on the Moodle page. Just make sure you refresh the page before you download it. And that should be good. Okay. So back to our course, our Moodle. I'm going to go again to site administration. And then under users, I'm going to upload users. And then I'll drag and drop that user upload CSV. And then I'll go ahead and click upload users. Now to Justin's question, here we go. We'll see, this is our preview. To Justin's question, we have the same sort of choice that we had here with the courses. We can add new only. We can update existing, or we can only update existing users. Standardized usernames, aye. Select, nay. Okay, yeah, there we go. Pirates coming through for us. Yes, you can make the choice as to whether or not you want to do these things. And when you have new users, this is create password and send if needed via email. This is the feature that I was using to send all of you your passwords. Believe it or not, we don't have an automation in between TouchNet, which was the registration thing, and Moodle. So I was periodically downloading the whole list of participants, people that had signed up, and throwing them into Moodle using exactly this feature. So the good thing is, because we've got .invalid addresses, they're not going to actually send out passwords to these fake email addresses. So I'm going to go ahead and click upload users. And then we'll see password was generated in cron. They've been enrolled in these courses as students and teachers according to that spreadsheet. So let's go have a look at one of those courses just to confirm. I'm going to go to site administration, courses, manage courses and categories. Let's have a look in this reading course. Curious thing, Moodle version that's on the cloud, I believe this is 3.11. So when you select a course like science course, it might seem like Moodle's doing nothing, but actually it's displaying down here the course. So if I want to view it, I can click view. So I could do that and go see the course. Here's what history course looks like. And I could click, go to enrolled users, for example, to see the enrolled users. And here are those users that got enrolled with that user upload. So yes, Carly points out that having I'm going to turn on my fan, it's a little hot in here. So Carly points out that a student information system will automate the creation of user accounts and courses, and it doesn't have to be administered by the admin. That is a great point. It is outside the scope of this particular training to talk about how to create an integration, but it's not as intimidating as it seems. I've done it a few times, and I consider myself more of a front-end admin than a back-end admin. So yeah, keep that in mind. You can integrate with a student information system to create courses and users. So I'm going to pause here for questions about uploads. So if you have a question about upload, either speak up or put your question in the chat.
So Ryan, you said that if we were to create a database to upload, it has to be in comma separated? Correct.
So let's say that you download an Excel spreadsheet from your HR database or whatever it is. You can modify it so that it looks like this. You want all lowercase, username, first name, last name, email, etc. You know, course one, role one. And there's a lot of other fields, just like the course upload. You can add columns to do all kinds of crazy stuff with users. For example, Lance, yes, you can use the CSV to unenroll users from courses. Just follow the Moodle docs that are linked right here. It'll show it. It'll give you all of the information about how to enroll. So, for example, enrollment fields. You've got all of these fields: course one, type one, role one, enrollment start, enrollment period, et cetera, et cetera. Enroll status, I think, is what we're looking for. So enroll status is optional, so you can enroll and suspend and do all of those things. Oh, thank you, Stephen. Yes, Moodle 3.10, not Moodle 3.11, is on the cloud. Thanks for pointing that out. So these are all the fields that you can use for a user upload, like time zone, authentication, phone one, phone two, address, et cetera, et cetera. So you can put people in cohorts, you can put people in groups. So these are examples of comma separated values files that you might use. For example, username, first name, last name, email, course one, group one within that course, cohort within the site. Aaron, we are going to leave these up forever. So these, you can always come back to these recordings. Actually, MtMoot 2020 is still up and will be forever on YouTube. I'll send links out for that for everyone. So there's a lot of stuff that you can do with upload users. It's not just that, but I mean, look at this document and all of the enrollment fields, cohort membership, system roles, all those sorts of things. This is your documentation on how to use upload users, and the same documentation exists for upload courses. And again, they're linked right here on the Moodle site. And you can also just search Moodle upload users, and it'll get you to the Moodle docs right there. I actually search you upload Moodle users all the time. I use the documentation all the time. Okay, so we're back here. We've gotten users enrolled in bulk. We've created courses in bulk. We've created categories, and we've put some stuff in those categories. So let's head back home here, and then you'll see that these are the available courses. So let's talk a little bit about how to look at how to arrange the front page a little bit, because by default it just shows you available courses, but you might not want to be oh, Lance, yeah, the CSV can be in any order. Thanks, Jeff, for answering that question in the chat. Also, Kylie, I got it. Somebody was quoting that Sandlot the other day, and I didn't know what they were saying, and I thought they were just being really creepy. But yeah, anyway, back to the presentation. We have the ability to change what the front page looks like. So everybody head to home, the front page of your site. You should see my new Moodle site, and you should see all your courses there. And Pam, it's okay if you have 35 courses listed, no big deal. It's just that data is as good as any other data. I just wanted to make some changes. All right, so if we go to the cogwheel in the top right corner and we go to edit settings on the front page, you can, first of all, let's rename our site. Ryan's Scurvy site is what I'm going to call it. Scurvy is my site short name. Oh, Scurvy. Now, front page items when logged in is what I want you to look at after you've changed your site name. What I was actually using for the MtMoot is the combo list that shows you the categories and the courses that are in them, so you can expand them and look at them the way that the front page of MtMoot works. like this right here. This bit is a combo list. So I'm going to display the combo list on my site. Pam, what did you missed how I got where? I'll just start from home again. So when you're on the front page of your site, so start by going to home and then click this little drop down up here, this cogwheel in the top right, and then go to edit settings. And that'll take you to this page. Also under site administration, if you ever happen to be there, appearance, and then front page settings is somewhere in here. One convenient thing to know about this site admin menu is that you can search for stuff if you can't remember where it is. So I'm going to search for front page here in my site settings, and front page settings. That's what I want. I want to go to front page settings. Great. So anyway, here we are back at front page settings. It's the same way to get, there through. Anyway, I want to change front page items when logged in to combo list. And then maybe, actually what I want to do is I want to show enrolled courses first. So these are only the courses that any user is enrolled in. So it's a user context thing. And then I want to show the combo list. And then maybe I want a course search box below that, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and scroll down and click Save Changes. And when I go home, now the front page of my site looks different, right? I've got my courses that I'm enrolled in. And then you see I've got, well, this is hidden, so a normal user wouldn't see it. That's why it's grayed out. But I've got my scurvy category and my landlubbers and scalawags categories in there too. And then there's a course search box down here at the bottom. So I've just customized the look of the front page of my site, leveraging the categories and courses that I've made already. Also leveraging enrollments so that people see my courses up at the top. Now, another neat thing that you can do is you have to realize that the front page of Moodle is actually just a course. So I can, in this cogwheel up here in the top right, turn editing on, and I have the ability to add an activity or resource to the front page. That's how I created these up here. Notice I've got add an activity or resource. So I've added these pages. And then if you want to learn about how to get Moot coins, you'll see I've put a little video here on this page. And so you can, learn about Moot coin and stuff. So these are actually just activities or resources added to the front page. So let's practice that on our new course. So I'm going to click add an activity or resource. And I'm actually going to use the label because I think labels are rad. So I clicked label in that activity selector. In fact, let me go back and just show everybody. On the front page of the course, first of all, you want to make sure that you have editing turned on in this cogwheel dropdown. Then you want to click add an activity or resource. And then I'm going to choose the label activity right here. And I'm going to say avast ye scurvy dogs. And I'm going to make it a large heading just so everybody can see it. I click save and return to course. And then you'll see, even when we turn editing off, we've got this label. And so I've put avast ye scurvy dogs up above the my courses and the combo list area. So when I turn editing on, again, maybe I want to add an activity or resource. You want everybody to have a discussion forum or something. And I'm going to put a discussion forum on here. And we're going to call it Dead Men Tell No Tales. And I'm going to make it a single simple discussion. And then when I save and return to course, you'll notice that we've got avast ye scurvy dogs, and we've got Dead Men Tell No Tales discussion forum. That's what that is. Okay, so I want to interject a joke here. Does anybody know what a pirate's favorite letter is? I want you to unmute and tell me if you know what it is.
It's
The C.
R.
R? You'd think it would be R, but his true love be the C. There you go. Lance, you got it. All right. Okay. So my kids can probably hear me from outside of this room, and they're probably vomiting at another dad joke, but that's their problem, not mine. Okay. Let's go ahead, and we've done bulk uploads of courses and users. We've modified the front page a bit. Does anybody have any questions about modifying the front page? All right.
All right, I've got one. Can
Sure.
you modify the front page based on the user's role?
Can you modify the front page based on the user's role? I don't think so, but, well, I guess you could kind of hack it. And we're going to talk about roles a little bit, but let's say that I wanted only like people with C hidden things on the front page. If I hide this, it's hidden from students, but maybe visible to teachers. If I had put a special role, so we're going to dive into roles, and we could use this as a good example for how to use roles to really customize what people see on Moodle. Go ahead. Okay. Beth, thank you for reminding us. Keep in mind these changes is visible for all users unless we do something a little tricky with to show people certain things based on their roles. So let's go ahead and jump into roles unless I have any other questions about this front page customization bit. Okay. So under so uploading user images is different than uploading users. It's actually, you have to make a zip file of all the images, and the images have to be titled the username, and I think it only accepts PNGs or JPEGs, but that information, if you Google Moodle upload user pictures, this Moodle doc will give you all that information on how to do that. You know what? After the break, I'll create a zip file and I'll do this, but I want to get through roles, and then we'll have our break, and then we'll jump into that. So yeah. Making a note. Great. Okay. So in order to set roles, let's go into site administration, and under users, there is define roles. All right. So define roles is right here. Again, you go to site admin, click the users tab, and then define roles. So let's imagine that we've got an authenticated sailor here. So let's say that we've got a TA. We want some student to have permission to maybe grade assignments, but not do anything else. So it's just a TA. They go in and they grade papers that are, distributed through the assignment module, for instance. We can add a new role down here at the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and add a new role. I'd invite you to do the same. And use role or archetype. This is what we start from. So I want to make this role have all the same permissions as a student to begin with, because what we're going to do, we want them to be a student, and then we're going to add a permission, which is grade other users' assignment submissions, okay? So I'm going to choose student and click continue. All right, So this is the new role. I'm going to call it TA for a teaching assistant. And it's based on student. And the places where it can be assigned are within a course or within an activity module. This is going to be most useful in a course. And we probably want the teacher to be able to assign this role to students so they can determine their own TAs, right? So watch this. Whoa. Okay, there are a ton of permissions in Moodle. Notice that some of them are checked to allow. So students, for example, are allowed to view user profiles. They, however, are not allowed to log in as other users. That's probably a good idea. And notice that there are warnings about these permissions. So like if you can log in as other users, you could change site configuration and behavior. You could add files that allow cross-site scripting. You could gain access to the private information of others, and you could send spam to site users or others. So, you know, you don't really want to give this login as other users permission to just anybody. You want to give it to somebody who's like really seriously like signed your confidentiality agreements and is, you know, a trustworthy individual. You don't just want anybody to have this permission. So when messing around with permission, always be very careful and know the ramifications of the permissions that you're giving to different roles. So the good thing is up here at the top, we have filters. So I can just search for example, assignment, right? And it'll, now this page is a lot shorter, right? Because these are only the permissions associated with the assignment activity. So I want to give this student the ability to grade an assignment. And that's the only thing I want to do. Notice that they could add files. And so, you know, we're going to have to trust these students a little bit, you know, the TAs, because they're going to be able to grade other students and they're going to be able to potentially add files that allow cross-site scripting. So, you know, when you're giving this permission to a student, you're giving them permission to grade other students. You need to make sure that you have a trusting relationship with them. And especially at a large institution that's maybe governed by FERPA or a medical institution that's governed by HIPAA, you're going to want to make sure that they understand those requirements when they get this permission and that they've agreed to uphold them. So I'll get off the soapbox there, but we just want to give them the ability to grade the assignment. And then, so I've allowed that. Now I'm going to click create this role. And there we go. Oh, sorry, I have to put a custom full name in here, TA. And I want to make sure I still have that checked. Grade assignment, yes, create this role. Great, so now we have the TA role. And so if I go into a course, excuse me, let's say this reading course, I'm going to go into this reading course. I'm going to click participants in the top left-hand corner. And then let's say that I want to make Gabriella a TA. In this enrolled users area, I'll click this edit button. You can get a drop down of all of your different roles that you could give them. So I'm going to add her as a TA and then weirdly click this floppy disk icon to make sure that it saves. My kids and young people these days don't even know what that is, but we're old people, so we probably do. So now Gabriella is a TA in the course. She's got the role that I just created. And let's imagine that Omar, the teacher, wanted her to go in and grade Kevin and Caroline's stuff if they created an assignment. She would have permission now to accomplish that objective. So questions about roles and permissions. I wanted to see if we could figure out how to see if we could make a role that sees hidden stuff on the front page. So I'm going to go back into site administration, again to users, and to define roles. Let's create a new role that is based on authenticated sailor. That's just any authenticated user. And I don't know what this permission is called, so I'm gonna just search front page. Nope. I'm gonna search hidden. And so we've got view hidden courses, see hidden categories, view hidden sections. I wonder if either of these do it. View hidden activities, that's probably what we're looking for. And I'm gonna call this hidden front page viewer. Now, I don't know if this is gonna work. This is the first time I've ever tried to do this, so maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. Great. And I actually want to make this available at the system level. I'm just making this up, so it might not work, folks, but we're going to find out if it does. So I'm going to assign system roles now, and I'm going to take that Ryan student. Here's my new hidden front page viewer system role. Ellen, that's a great question, but the one thing is that groups aren't available on the front page, but in a course, groups would be a great way to restrict access. So I'm going to add this Ryan student into this hidden front page viewer. Now I'm going to go to site administration, users, browse list of users, and I'm going to search for Ryan. Now, one neat thing about being an administrator is that when you open a student's profile, you have the ability to log in as, go aboard as, there's another little pirate English thing. Normally this is log in as. So I'm gonna go aboard as Ryan students. And see, I gotta add a location, that's what I did. Oh man, Moodle Cloud policy, yikes. Okay, next. Sorry, I just have to agree to these real quick as a new user. This is great, actually, because it's GDPR driven. I'm a big supporter of that. All right, so dead men tell no tales. Oh, I need to log out and log back in as the administrator. Oh, you can have groups. Well, interesting. Okay, well, I think that this would work, but I don't want to get too sidetracked. You guys are getting me distracted. All right, just remember that your username is admin when you log out of your site. Your username will be admin. Okay, so I'm going to take questions. So Michael points out that you actually can have groups on the main Moodle front page. I guess that's probably under more users groups. Oh, great. Yeah. Well, then, Ellen, I told you wrong, and Michael corrected me. Thank you. Great. So we're about halfway through. So I want to give us all a break. We'll take about 15 minutes. We'll reconvene at 2:30 p.m. Mountain Time. So that'll be in 17 minutes. And I would invite, before we officially go, any questions, go ahead and put them in chat or unmute and ask them. Otherwise, I will mute myself and go get a snack or something. All right. well, it looks like we've done perfectly here. So I'm going to go ahead and stop my screen share, and I'm going to pause the recording, and then I will see you all when we return. Boom, we're back. Cooler than ever. All right. So let me share my screen. We'll get back into this thing here. All right. So we have done assigning roles. Now we want to talk about managing enrollment. All right. So enrollment is how we get people into courses and things like that. So the one thing that we want to discuss with enrollment is that, yes, enrollment can happen at the course level, and it can happen via CSV. We've already shown how to do it through CSV. So let's talk about cohorts. Cohorts are pretty cool because you can add people into a cohort and then you can mass enroll them to courses without having to enroll individuals, right? So under site administration, I'm going to go to users and cohorts. Now I want to add a new cohort. And I'm going to call this cohort Scalawags. So this is my Scalawags cohort, right? So I'm going to go ahead and just click Save Changes. So I'm creating a new cohort. And oh yes, Laura, you could see my screen. That's true. In my sunglasses now, you can see how cool my screen is. So the user, the cohort here called Scalawags, if I want to add users to it, there is a assign users to cohort over here on the right hand side. So I'm going to go ahead and assign some users to this cohort. You'll notice I have all of my users here that are available. I can either hold Command or Control and select multiples, or if I want to, for example, select all the students, I'm going to hold Shift and go all the way down to the bottom of the student list and click that. And then that way I've selected everybody between Amira and Ryan really pretty easily. So I'm going to go ahead and click Add users into the Scalawags cohort. So I've added all of the students into Scalawags, okay? Now, when I go back to cohorts, you'll see, we've got Scalawags, we've got 12 users. So let's head home and let's add these cohort users into a course. So let's say I want to add them all into Math 101. I'll go to Math 101. Here we are. I'm going to click Participants in the top left. That'll take me to this enrollment page where I enrolled myself and Ryan's student earlier. And then I'm going to, in the drop down in the top right-hand corner, I'm going to open enrollment methods for the course. And you'll see here we have a few enrollment methods, right? So I'm actually going to choose cohort sync for this one. And I'm going to call this, I'm just going to call it Scalawags. You can name it whatever you want to. But the important point is that you choose the Scalawags cohort in this cohort dropdown. Now, if you have multiple cohorts, you can also search here, for Scalawags, and it will give you. So if you've got multiple cohorts, you can use it that way. Now I've selected the cohort. These Scalawags are going to be enrolled into this course as students. And then the cool thing is I can actually put them in a group within the course using this. So if I wanted a Scalawags group that's based on this cohort, I could say create new group, and it'll create a group in the course for me that has these users in it. So I'm going to go ahead and click add method. And now you'll see I've got 12 users enrolled here via the Scalawags enrollment method. So if I go to participants, you'll see here that all of those students are enrolled and they're put in this group called Scalawags cohort. Now, I want you all to notice Ryan's student, okay? I manually enrolled Ryan's student earlier, but Ryan's student is also a member of the Scalawags cohort. So you'll see that I have two enrollment methods over here to the right. Ryan's students enrolled into this course via two different ways. That doesn't mean that Ryan's student is duplicated in this course. It just means that if I, for example, end his enrollment, so this trash can right here, if I click unenroll, that's unenrolling the manual enrollment that we did at the beginning of this course. He's still enrolled because he's part of the Scalawags cohort. So Moodle courses are capable of handling more than one enrollment method. So it's really convenient if, say, you need someone to get into a course real quick. The classic explanation for this is like a student is supposed to be in a course, for example, at a college, but they haven't yet enrolled with the registrar. And you've got some sort of integration set up that enrolls the students in Moodle when they enroll with the registrar. But let's say the professor contacts you and says, I need the student to get in right now. They're going to go enroll with the registrar next week or something, but I need them to get access to some material. You can manually enroll them in the course. And when they go through with the registrar, it's not going to mess anything up. It's just going to add another enrollment to them. So that's kind of a convenient feature that you can have two enrollment methods going on at once. Now, go ahead.
Ryan, I saw that when we were doing the cohort, one of the options was when we chose the role. So we chose a student. If we had chosen there that we wanted everyone to say have TA, permissions, and that person was in there enrolled in two different ways, which one trumps? Do they get the permissions that are the higher permissions?
Yes, but just like you can have multiple enrollments, you can have multiple roles. So let's say I want Darius here to be both a TA and a student. I add that TA role. Yeah, he's got the TA role, so he can grade assignments, but he also has the student role, so he can submit to them as well, right? So you could think of it like they have the higher permissions trump the other ones, but you could also think of it as them happening in parallel, because that's really what's going on. That's a great question. Okay, so now we have, let's see, what else are we doing? Oh, I want to show you another enrollment method. So if we again go to, I'm going to start from home again, just so everybody knows where I'm at. If I go into Math 101 and I go to participants, and then I click this drop down menu here, and I again go to enrollment methods. I can add one of the coolest things. Oh, great, AC, yeah. The cohort sync is like a major deal, because the cool thing about cohort sync is that it's active. So if you add someone to the cohort, they get added to all the courses that cohort's in. So it's a real convenient way to manage users. Oh, we don't have MetaLink. Okay, let me go back over to MtMoot so I can, you won't be able to do this on your site, the metalinking, but on your Moodle Cloud site, apparently metalinking has been disabled. But actually, you know what? I think I can fix that. I'm going to go into site administration, courses, or no, plugins. Manage enroll plugins. Oh yeah, MetaLink's completely gone. All right, so you guys can just watch this part. It's really helpful to know. So I'm going to go into somebody's sandbox course. Actually, you know what? I'll go into an old course. I have previous Moot courses. That's what I'll do. All right, so here we are in this old MtMoot Commons course. I'm going to go to participants. Again, this is the same thing that we were looking at before. I'm going to go to enrollment methods, and then I'm going to add a method. And where did it go? I don't know what I'm doing here, folks. It looks like MetaLink is just gone. Thank you, Randy. MetaLink is off by default. Let me turn it on. Sorry, never mind the man behind the curtain here. Enrollments, manage enroll, course MetaLink, boom. Okay, so you may need to do that if you want to avail yourself of course MetaLink. I'll run through this again real quick. So let's say that MetaLink's not available in your site. I'm going to go to site administration, plugins, and then down under enrollment plugins, see enrollments. I'm going to go to manage enroll plugins. And then course MetaLink is the one that I enabled, and you enable and disable it by clicking the eyeball off to the right of it. So I'm enabling course MetaLink. Now, MetaLink is a way to enroll everybody from one course into another course. I use this a lot when I'm adminning for colleges, because a lot of times a teacher will say, I teach Math 101A and Math 101B, and I just want one course. So I'll create a course where I MetaLink those two courses into it so that all the users from course A and course B are in that single course, so the teacher doesn't have to duplicate their work between section A and section B. So now that I've pointed that out, I'm going to head back to this other MtMoot Commons course from this previous Moot. All right. Now I'm going to go to participants. I'm going to go to enrollment methods, just like we did before. Now I'm going to add course MetaLink as an enrollment method. And let's say I wanted to enroll everybody from the OPI Renewal Unit Certificate course into this one, right? I'll click that and I'll say, I want to add them to a new group, perhaps. So I click Add Method, and now we see that everybody from OPI Renewal Unit course, 19 folks so far, has been enrolled in this course. Likewise, maybe I want the other OPI Renewal Unit people to be in here, so I'm going to add another MetaLink. I'm just going to select OPI Renewal Unit Certificate course. I'll create a new group. Click Add Method. And so now from both of these years, the OPI Renewal Unit course, these folks have been MetaLinked and enrolled into the course. So if I go and look at participants now, we'll see, oh man, I got a bunch of participants in here. So here's somebody that was enrolled from the Renewal Unit course. And so anybody that's in those courses, again, here's another one. We can get information about this and say that they're enrolled from MtMoot Commons manually, or they're enrolled from the MetaLink here to the OPI Renewal Unit course. That could have been a lot clearer. Do I have any questions about this before I move on from enrollment methods? All right, Eric, ask us the question about MetaLinking. You can unmute and ask if you like, or you can type it. Thank you, Randy. Randy points out that if you disable an enrollment method at the site level, it'll disable all the courses. So click carefully. That's a great. Yes, Eric, that is correct. MetaLinking enrolls the same students from one course into another course. So it's basically you've got this course and you're enrolling students into this other course based on, yeah, but that's correct. It's not related to course content. it just brings the user enrollment. Backup and restore or import are what bring the course content from one course to another. So yeah, that's a great question. Awesome. Okay, so we've done enrollments and moving on. Don't hesitate to ask questions if you have them. The meta links are automated and it keeps on updating forever. You don't have to initiate it each time. Yep, it's really convenient. All right, let's see here. Intro to Moodle for admins. Managing enrollments. Oh, here comes the fun part. We're going to start talking about customizing your Moodle. This is always fun. I love this. So let's head back to your Moodle site. We've got, this stuff going on the front page. And let's say that we want to change the colors, for instance. We'll go into site administration. Under appearance, let's start with adding some logos. So I'm going to click logo. And let's say that I want to add the MtMoot logo to this site. Where are we? Logo. So I'm just going to drag and drop my MtMoot logo in here. And then I'll click Save Changes. And we should see it when we go home. Boom, there she is, logo. There's also a compact logo that I believe will show up here. So let me give that a shot. Appearance, logos. I'm going to drop this MtMoot logo in there and let's see where it goes. I think it shows in the your school area. Yep, there it is. Boom. MtMoot. So that's how you add logos. Let's go into appearance again. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff that you can do here. I'm not going to jump into any of the crazy stuff. But let's look at the theme selector. So theme selector, currently we have Boost, which is the theme that we're using right now. But we also have installed here the classic theme. So if we want to change our look altogether, I'm going to click use theme here. And it's going to change everything, right? So here we are on the classic theme. This is what my Moodle looks like now. You'll see it's got the same content, it's got the same logo, it's got the same courses and everything, but it looks different. And that's what themes do. For the MtMoot, we're using a theme called Move with 2 O's, Move. So I'm going to go into site administration, appearance, and just show you that we've got some themes here that are different. So for example, if I wanted to, I'm going to mess everybody up real quick. And I'm going to change the default theme on the MtMoot site right now, just for fun, to Boost. And now MtMoot's theme, the whole site looks different. Colors are gone, it's simpler, the blocks are over here. If you go and refresh the MtMoot Moodle right now, everything will change. All the colors and everything will look different, but the content is going to stay the same. But I'm going to go fix that back because people freak out when things look differently than they did before. So I'm going to go into appearance. I'm going to go into the theme selector for the MtMoot, and I'm going to change it back to Move. Okay. Whew. Now we're back to normal. So everybody, I hope someone randomly refreshed the page and everything looked different for just a moment and then went back to Boost. To have user level alternating themes. Great question, Eric. Great question. So couple of things. With themes, you can install them from the Moodle plugins database. Now, the Moodle cloud does not allow you to install plugins. That permission has been taken away. But if you wanted to install plugins on a Moodle, Moodle plugin database, that's it, the Moodle plugins directory. So this is where you get plugins for Moodle. And you can do all sorts of crazy stuff with plugins. Plugins are community contributed code that you can just sort of tack on to your Moodle. Oh, Randy, thank you for that deep link there. You can also look for, what was the themes, sorry. So in this drop down here, you see all the different types that we have. I'm actually going to select theme, and it'll show me all of the different themes that I could use. So we've got Snap, Class, Academy, Foundation, Rounded, Fordson, Boost, Campus, Joomla, Adaptable. There's Rebel. There's all kinds of themes here. So let's say that you want to see what Rebel looks like. I'm going to go to the plugin page. I happen to know this developer, Chris Kenneberg, very awesome themer, reliable, and he does great work. He's done videos of what it looks like. Pam, yes, there is allow user themes. I'm going to get to that in just a second. So for example, this is what the front page looks like in this Rebel theme, right? They've cleaned it up a little bit. It looks a little bit simpler. It's got these course cards and stuff. This is what maybe a course looks like. So you can add themes without changing any of the content. Remember, the content's what's inside. The theme is just kind of the skin that goes over the top of the Moodle. So I'm going to allow user level themes in the MtMoot site. And I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that. I'm going to go to site administration. I can't remember exactly where it is. I'm going to search user theme. All right, so allow user themes. I'm going to check this and I'm going to save changes. Now, if you want to change the way the MtMoot looks for you, you can do it. I'll show you how to do so. So if you click your profile in the top right, you go to your profile, go to details, and then edit profile. I know it takes it's a lot of clicks to get there. Now, just above this description area, I can change my theme, for example, to Fordson. I'll go and update profile. And now Moodle's going to look different for me, but not for everybody else. Okay. So now we've got different colors. We have a different banner up here. Fordson was the theme that we used last year. That's again, Chris Kenneberg, a great theme developer. He does Fordson and Rebel. So if you want to see what MtMoot looked like last year, or roughly what it looked like last year, you can go and into your profile and change your theme to whatever you like. I'm going to go change my theme back. You're welcome to change your theme to whatever theme you like. If you like Fordson better or Boost or whatever, you can do that. But as an administrator, you are empowered to change the themes for everybody all at once by selecting the default theme. So I'm going to go back to the default preferred theme. I'll update my profile, and then notice Moodle wholesale changes all the way throughout the site. Do themes ever break with upgrades? Yes, which is why you need to make sure that you're working with a theme that's going to be maintained. One of the things I like about Chris's themes is that he's really an early adopter. He keeps them updated. The theme that I'm using right now, Move, is also one that's pretty reliable. Adaptable is the most popular theme, I think, just because it has a wild number of in-theme settings. So I kind of want to show you what that looks like. I'm going to go to site administration. Under appearance again, And then you'll notice the 4 themes that I have installed are right here. So for example, the move theme gives me the opportunity to change. It's got its own logos. It allows me to add a favicon. That's the little thing that shows up in the browser tab, the favicon. And then you can also change the color. So notice I've chosen this brand color right here. I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to do something crazy real quick. Let's say that I want my brand color to be this fuchsia. I'm going to click Save Changes. And now the whole MtMoot site brand color is going to be changed over to fuchsia. So notice all of my links are fuchsia. If I go to the home page, it looks quite different. And if I go maybe into a course, you'll see that there's new fuchsia accents. So yeah, that's what the brand color is. I could also change this drawer color if I want to with the move theme. Yeah, I really hope people are using the thing right now and seeing all of these changes happen. I'm just gonna enjoy that thought to myself. So anyway, I'm gonna go back to site administration. I'm gonna go to appearance. I'm gonna go into the move theme here. And yeah, it's good to be the admin. It's fun to be the admin. And I'm actually going to change my brand color back to the one that I had before. I'm using a hex code to do that, or you can use that color picker. So now if I save changes, you'll notice that the site is going to go back to where everything's that nice, amenable green color that we've chosen for our brand. So if you wanted to do that in your site, I'm going to switch back over to this site here. Oh, look, I'm still in Boost, so everything looks different. Or I'm still in the classic theme. So this is how the admin menu used to look. So I've got to go to appearance, themes. I'm going to change back to Boost first of all, theme selector. So I'm going to click use theme. All right. Now we're back to the Boost theme. All right, again, starting from home, I'm going to go to site administration, appearance, and then I'm going to open Boost. And you'll see that you can add brand color here. So let's say you don't like the orange and you want to go with pink or something. Just choose your brand color right here in the Boost settings. Click Save Changes, and now the whole site is gonna go to that brand color. It'll take a minute for these CSS changes to propagate. There we go. All right, so now I've changed the brand color for my Moodle test site. There are other themes that allow you a lot more flexibility. I just want to show you on the MtMoot site, if I take a look at the theme settings afforded by Fortson, for instance. I'm going to go into appearance, themes, Fortson. Notice that we've got menu settings, we've got icon navigation, we've got content areas, we've got colors, weirdly with a U. Actually, not weirdly, that's the British spelling, I know. But these allow us to set a lot of different colors. So the more complex theme that you have, the more confusing it'll be to set up, but the more freedom you also have and the more control. So if you need to install a theme on whatever Moodle you're using, you can do that through the install plugins interface, and then you can use that theme to really customize up the way that your site looks. As a consultant, theming is huge. I get lots of requests to, I want my site to look like this. We want to put our logo here. We want these colors to be here. So a lot of folks get in touch with us at My Learning Consultants requesting to have theme modifications made so it matches their brand better. So do I have any questions before I move on from theme customization? There's a lot more to this. You can write custom CSS and hide things and show things and do all kinds of crazy stuff. But this administration bit is yeah, it's our way that we make sites look like what they look like. Okay, I don't see any questions. What I would like right now is for everybody to throw something in the chat. What's the most useful thing that you've learned so far about Moodle administration? What is it that's landing with you? I just kind of want to see where everybody's at. Good. Cohorts, enrolling users. Oh man, cohorts. People love cohorts. CSV files. Metalinks. Oh, test account alias emails. That's a good one, Carly. Yeah, it looks like everybody's using this enrollment stuff. That's great. Oh, adding multiple courses at once. That's huge. We actually, that's still how we do it over at Carroll. We take a report from the colleague database that has all the courses in it, and we upload a CSV, and it creates 500-600 courses at once, and then we enroll everybody with an upload users enrollment too. So cool. Oh yeah, the front page, modifying the front pages. And modifying the front page is great, especially if you're going to warn people about an upcoming change. Like when I need to take the site down for an institution, I'll put a label up there that says, hey, the first thing you see on the front page, the site's going to be down from Thursday at midnight to 1 a.m. or something like that, whenever I'm going to do it, right? So that's really helpful to make site-wide announcements so that people see it every time they log in. Like, don't plan on Moodling after midnight on Thursday or whatever. Oh, adding a logo. Yeah, that's brand identity is so important. And a really well-designed Moodle, it should be hard to tell that Moodle, that it's even Moodle at all. Like, people interact with Moodle all the time and don't know that that's what they're using. And that's the whole idea, right? It's open source. You take it, it's yours, you brand it up, and it works for you. Oh, user tour guides. Yeah, Eric, thanks for bringing that up. I am going to actually show us how to do that. I think that would be cool. Let's see if we can do that on our Moodle. I like this fuchsia color, so I'm going to leave it. You're free to change it to whatever you like to, but I'm going to leave it on there just for fun. So user guides, tour guides, user tours is what they're called. Inside administration, under, I think it's under, I don't know where it is. I'm going to search for it. User tours. Great. Administration, appearance, user tours. Great. So I'm going to start at site administration. I'm going to go to appearance, and then I'm going to go to user tours. All right. So user tours are really cool. They create modals. So they have like pop-ups that interrupt people when they go to a certain place. So I'm going to create a new tour. I encourage you to click along with me on this, the global adventure. Create a new tour. We're going to call it Tour of Ye Old Docs. Tour of Ye Old Docs. And we're going to enable this tour. Now, these settings are the real thing that you need to do is the URL to match. And if you click this question mark, it'll show you. So like if you wanted to, oh, sorry, let me pull this question mark thing back up. If you wanted to like in course with ID 2, you would put, course view PHP ID 2 to match up a specific course. So let's say I wanted this to apply to, in this case, my Moodle gradebook session. I would actually put this trunk here. If I was doing this on the MtMoot site, I would, and I want this tour to kick off when you go to that course, I would put that in there with the leading slash actually. But let's just do it for our front page for now. And to do that, you just type the words front page in all capitals. Again, this question mark shows you, I keep trying to highlight stuff in that modal. If you wish to display a tour on the site, you can use the value front page. So we're just going to put front page in. And I want to show with a backdrop. So yes, I'm going to show with a backdrop. And then I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to click Save Changes. All right. So now I'm going to open my tour view old docs. I'm going to add a new step. And I'm going to say, just display this in the middle of the page. You could choose a block or a CSS selector. I'm not going to get into that just yet. But let's display this one in the middle of the page. R. Avast ye scurvy dogs. If target is not found, that means that you've selected an incorrect target. I'll give you an example of that in a second. Right now, we're just going to display this tour in the middle of the page on the front page. The title is going to be R, and it's going to say Avast ye scurvy dogs. I'm going to click Save Changes. And now, when I go home, it's going to blank everything out and give me this little message right here. R, Avast ye scurvy dogs. So this is a way to, like, when people go to a certain page, they will be interrupted by this and they'll say, okay, look at this thing, right? Now, let's say that I wanted to I wanted to highlight Math 101, okay? I'm gonna right click on it and I'm gonna click Inspect. Now this is just if I lose you here, it's okay. A user tour shows up every time somebody visits the page, but it can't be necessarily scheduled in that way. So I'm actually going to copy the selector for this element right here. And I'm going to go back to my tour. This might be getting a little bit far afield for less CSS inclined folks. But I'm going to go back to tour of the old docs. I'm going to add a new step. I'm actually going to use selector and I'm going to paste that CSS selector in there. Oh, no, that's not going to work. Hold on, let me find one that works. Copy selector. All right, great. This is a course list title. Thanks for watching. All right, so now I've added this display in the middle of the page. And then I've also added highlight this thing and show this next. So I've got 2 steps in my tour. Now, if I head back to the home page, notice it doesn't show because I've already seen it once. But there's this link down here, reset user tour on this page. So I'm going to reset the user tour. And it says R Avast ye scurvy dogs. I click next. And it highlights the My Courses area and says this is the course list title, right? So if you want more practice in finding the appropriate CSS selectors for this, find me in one of the parties or something, and we can talk about that a little bit. But I don't want to get too bogged down with that. I just kind of wanted to show the user tour for everyone. So I'm going to end tour, and let's talk about adding blocks. I'll take some questions here if anybody has tour questions. If you have kind of a flimsy understanding of this, it's fine. but if you have questions, I do want to answer them before I move on. All right, cool. So let's go to our front page. Everybody come along with me to the front page of your course, wherever you are. And in this drop down up here, I want to turn editing on. And then I want to click add a block over here on the left-hand side. And then you'll notice there's a whole bunch of blocks that we can add. All these blocks do a bunch of different things, but the HTML block I think is the simplest. So I'm going to go ahead and click HTML. And then notice we have a new HTML block up here in the top right-hand side. Now, I'm going to click the actions for this, and I'm going to configure the block. And then we've got Ryan's HTML block. And then you'll notice we've got this whole WYSIWYG editor up here. So you can do whatever you want to. Let's say link to MtMoot, right? I'm going to make a link to the MtMoot. Let's make it bold. I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to click this link thing. MtMoot.com. Oh, that didn't work. MtMoot.com. So now I've created this nice pink link to the MtMoot, right? I'm going to go ahead and save changes. And then notice up here in the top right-hand side, we've got Ryan's HTML block, and there's a link to the MtMoot. I want to show you an application of this that I thought was really cool. So down here, we've got a screenshot of Carol's Moodle from a couple years ago. These are actually two different Moodles. The 2017 is down here, and then 2020 is up top. You'll notice that I made some changes there. But this academic tutoring, student email, print manager, Carol apps, that's an HTML block. That's all it is just an HTML block with some buttons in it. Same thing here, email, my Carol, library, print, student life. These are just images that have links. They look cool, but they're nothing special, really. So this HTML block here, oh, you'll also notice that this is 2020, so we have using Zoom in virtual classrooms, a quick video tutorial and detailed instructions. That was something that we put on there right when the pandemic happened, because we added Zoom stuff and detailed instructions on how to use virtual classrooms for people. We put it in the top right so everybody could get to it no matter where they are, right? So let's take another look at this HTML block here, and I'll show you how to put a button in. So we're going to configure Ryan's HTML block. Now, let's say that I want this link to the MtMoot to appear throughout the entire site. You'll want to change under where this block appears to display throughout the entire site. Now that block shows up everywhere in the site. Oh, I'll point out also that the MoTrain block and the sponsors block, no matter where you are, those display on the MtMoot site. This sponsors block is an HTML block, and this MoTrain block is a plugin block that we got from MoTrain/Motivated, who's managing all the coins and stuff. They're great people. Go check them out when you have a chance. So let's say that I want to add some sort of button link. Let's say I have a picture of a button. I'm going to drag this over here and drop that in. This is an image of the Moodle US sticker that we sent out. So I just dragged and dropped an image into this HTML block. And once it uploads, we should be able to turn it into a little button. Of course, assuming it uploads. Maybe that's a really big screenshot. And then come on, upload. Actually, I'm gonna resize this image down. I think I got a really big one. So let me do that. Give me just a second. Oh, there it is. All right, so that's way too big. So I'm gonna make it smaller. Wow, that's 1,000 pixel wide image. Oh, you might have, Carly, you might have the bar collapsed. If the Motrain block isn't showing up, it might be collapsed over here. So this little green button can show and hide that column. Oh, well, Carly, I'm gonna table that and look at it in a minute, just to make sure that I've got you in there. Okay, so where was I? Oh yeah, my new block. So I'm gonna size this image down a little bit just to make it easier to bite off, right? So here's this Moodle US image. I'm gonna highlight that image. I'm gonna click the link, and I'm gonna input moodle.org maybe to create a link. So now that image is itself a hyperlink. And that's how I created those buttons. I made an image of the button. I put it into the HTML block. I highlighted it and made a link out to the student email or to the library page or to whatever else I needed people to go to. So I'm going to save changes. And now you'll see that this, when I click on it, is going to take me over to moodle.org. So there we go. I've just created a button based on an image really simply and easily, just by adding an image and making it a link. So now you'll notice that because I've told this block to show up everywhere in the site, it doesn't matter what page I go to, you know, that HTML block is going to persist up there in the top right-hand corner. So it'll be on every page everywhere. So remember, don't display it throughout the whole site unless it's useful pretty much in every context. And that's the thing with the Carroll students is they're always going to need to get to their email. They're always going to need to look at the library site to do research. They're always going to need to quickly and easily link out. When I instituted that HTML block, I was working in the library, and I actually heard a student say, there are buttons in the top right hand of our Moodle now that go to like email and library. This is awesome. This is so cool. Like I heard a student say that out loud, just like walking by. So keep in mind as an administrator, make use of those blocks. Like you're in control of that. I want to show one other really cool deal that you can do with the block. I'm going to go to Twitter Publish. Public. So let's say that I want to go to the MtMoot site. So I'm going to search MtMoot, go to people, and go to MtMoot. Okay, so I'm going to grab this URL, twitter.com/MtMoot. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to drop it into this Twitter publish thing. I'm going to choose embedded timeline. And then I'm going to copy this code. Okay. Twitter just gave me the embed code. Now, you don't have to follow along with this if you don't want to. I just kind of want to show you because I think it's neat. So I'm going to add an HTML block. I'm going to configure it. MtMoot Twitter feed. Now, in order to put code in, you have to select this code interface. So I'm now going to paste this Twitter code in here. I'm going to save changes. And now, voila, the MtMoot Twitter feed shows up on the side of the course, right? So you can do embeds from like Facebook and from like weather apps and like anywhere you can get some embed code, you can stick it over on the side in one of these HTML blocks. So really, you know, your imagination is the limit of what you can do with the blocks. Yes, adding a block can be specific to a course. So this one, I added this Twitter feed in the math course. You'll notice that when I go to home, that block's not there because it's only in the course. So teachers can add their own blocks to their courses. One of the coolest blocks ever is the random glossary entry block. And now that's out of the scope of administrative work, so I'm not really going to go into it, but it'll randomly select entries from a glossary and display them. Like every time you reload the page, you get a new entry from that glossary. So that's pretty cool. There's a lot of cool blocks, suffice it to say. But you as the administrator have the ability to create site-wide blocks. So make use of them because they can really impress people and make things a lot easier. Okay, AC asked me if I can do course competencies, and yes, I can. I want to take questions though about blocks. And if anybody has a creative, random glossary entry block and points for class checking the glossary. Awesome, Valerie, that's great. Oh yeah, thank you, Randy. There's a link to blocks. If you have any creative ideas for blocks, throw them in there. Blocks cannot be created in topic sections, but you can achieve the same thing just by using a label. Like if I wanted to add the Twitter feed to this Scurvy Dogs label here, I would just turn that on, throw it in there. This is going to make my front page real long, but I don't care. So now I've got all of that Twitter feed there in that, section, and it's super long, but yeah, there you go. So yeah, you can do that. You can achieve a similar effect. I would just use the label activity to do anything I would do on the right side with a HTML block, I would do in the course itself using a label block. So everybody throw in a creative idea for how you might use the HTML block site-wide. If you have any ideas that are specific to your industry or whatever, I'd like to see those in chat. And then I'm gonna check my schedule and make sure that we're on track before I go into course competencies. Oh, a link to the ticket system. Awesome. Yeah, the corporate Twitter, Deb, that'd be great. Ooh, trainer's contact info and picture. That's a really good one. Other providers of quality library training services, contact info for lecturers. Great. Yeah. Yeah, you can make a really cool, like put the lecturer's picture, some information, a link out to their LinkedIn or to their Facebook or whatever. Oh, you can put the user tour link in the HTML block. That's true. Any related courses? Yeah. Yeah, I like the user tour idea because it gets buried down there at the bottom. Whereas if you have it at the top in the corner. And the way to do that is like, I would just right click on it, copy link address, and then I would put, maybe in Ryan's HTML block. One thing that you'll have to be careful of though, is I think that reset user tour bit is page specific. So it'd probably be a bad idea to put it on a site-wide block, but so now I can have the reset user tour up here. And then when I click it, it should, well, maybe it's not gonna work. I don't know. That's a good idea. We could figure that out. I bet that'll work some way, but in any case. Yeah, cool, Lance. I love it. All right, so competencies. Competencies are site-wide expectations. I have long advocated that colleges and universities use competencies to track core understandings. Like if you say you enroll at our college You're going to know how to research stuff. You're going to know how to write a formatted paper. You're going to understand complex modern social issues, and you're going to be able to communicate about the contentious things with others in your community, right? So let's say that that's your selling point, you know, for a university. When you're going to come here, we're going to make you this, you know, our university student, and this is, yeah, intended learning outcomes. But competencies can stretch out across all courses. It's a site-wide deal. So in site administration, under competencies, you notice we've got competencies right here in site admin. I'm actually going to go to competency frameworks. We don't have any competency frameworks yet, so I'm going to add a new competency framework. I'm going to call this Moot competencies. So things get a little squirrely with competencies, so hang in with me as we go through this. I'm going to add, let's say, not satisfactory, satisfactory, and outstanding. So these scales are built in. You can create new scales as well. I suppose I could probably show you how to do that, but let's do this for now. And then configure the scales. You're gonna need to have both default and proficient set. So like, let's say satisfactory. I'm gonna set those. And then I'm going to click Save Changes. Just real simple. Oh, I have to provide an ID number. MtMoot. All right. So I have this sort of broad area set, Moot competencies. I'm going to add a competency below it. And I'm going to say, be a good neighbor. I call this MtMoot21. So now I've added a competency that is be a good neighbor. Moot competencies. I'm going to add one that's maybe tweet with MtMoot. I'm actually just going to make the ID number the same as the top, so it's a little bit easier. All right, so now we have be a good neighbor and tweet with MtMoot. All right. So when I go to a course, let's say I go into Math 101 and I'm going to create some page. I'm just creating, this could be a quiz, a lesson, a page, a workshop, a forum, whatever you want. Be a good neighbor. And I'm just going to have view to complete competency. So I also need to define activity restrictions, or not, sorry, activity completion. So show activity is complete when conditions are met. Students must view this activity to complete it. And then upon activity completion, I actually have to add this competency to the course first. So let me save and return to the course. Okay, so we've got the be a good neighbor thing here. I'm going to go into edit settings for the course. And then under, oh dang, where is it? I think maybe I need to enable it for the site level. Hold on, sorry guys. It'll take me a second to.
Did you just enable it for the specific course?
Yeah, but
Okay,
it's not,
course.
there should be a competencies bit showing up here. I need to make sure that I add it. Sorry, I have this stuff
Turn it
enabled.
on. Yeah. When you go to
Let
edit
me-
your settings, you can turn it on then.
Yeah.
Enable completion. Is it? Oh no, it's completion. I'm thinking of completion, not course competencies.
Right. Well, I forget how to do this, guys. Well, when all else fails. Course. That's why there's a Moodle doc, yeah. Okay. Course competencies. Competencies may be enabled.
You have to create a new framework, competency framework first.
So I did that at the site
Uh-huh.
level.
Mhm.
Navigation, my courses, course name, competencies. Oh, here they are, right here. Okay. So everybody, when you're in a course, it's not in edit settings or anywhere else where I was looking. It's in this drawer over here, and there's competencies in the top left. So now I need to add competencies to the course. So there's this add competencies to course button. And I want to add both be a good neighbor and tweet with MtMoot to the course. Okay. So now I know that these, I could say, okay, upon course completion, attach evidence or do nothing or complete the competency. I'm going to say do nothing here because I'm not dealing with course completion yet. But now when I go to be a good neighbor and I edit settings, I say, okay, for this page activity, the activity is complete when the conditions are met that the student must view this activity. And then upon activity completion, I want to be a good neighbor. I want that competency to be completed. Okay. Save and return to course. So now anybody that looks at this page is going to have the competency be a good neighbor marked as complete. The site-wide, maybe let's say that students have to, in order to get the write a paper competency, students have to write a paper and get an 80 on it in composition. They have to, in some advanced level course, write some other paper and get an 80% on it. They have to complete the writing tutorial, and then they have to, I don't know, do something else. You could say, I want to attach evidence. So instead of completing the competencies, I just want to attach evidence for this be a good neighbor. And then somebody, maybe the academic advisor, says, the student comes and say, hey, I've completed this competency, will you check it off? They could go through, look at the evidence and say, I want to mark this competency as complete now that they've got 4 pieces of evidence for writing from different courses. So, I mean, that's competencies in a nutshell. Actually planning and deploying them as an organization-wide task, you know, where you're going to want to have your committee, you know, doing this work about which competencies for which courses. It's like if you're doing a core curriculum revision for a college, you know, the competencies would be part of that. Now, also, if you're in the corporate environment or the government environment, you could say that, you know, we want competencies across the site to maybe customer service or interaction with the public or something. You've gone through enough trainings to say there might be different ways to demonstrate that you're competent in interacting with the public through different courses, and people could choose. I want to, you know, you need to get 3 pieces of evidence. There's 10 courses that you can choose from. So that would kind of be the way to use competencies at a site organization-wide level. Randy points out the competencies forum is useful. Absolutely, it is. I would encourage you, if you want to jump into that, to go for it. We've done some pretty fancy stuff with competencies for some clients with My Learning Consultants, including reporting back to other HR systems where like you want to know that your IT staff has the competency of resisting spear phishing, right? Like you want to know that they have basic security training taken care of. So we'll use those competencies to trigger things in the HR database that say this person is certified to work with HIPAA sensitive data or FERPA data or whatever it is. So yeah, that's we've done some pretty cool stuff with that. So
I'll add,
go ahead.
I'll add one more thing to the competencies thing, that it does take a lot of planning and it does need to be kind of institutional wide. And with your committee, I would even RPG it out after you have everything set. I would have it set up on a mock, your test Moodle, and assign people roles and have everyone go through it. And because like as a Moodle administrator, you might have it down. Yeah, this is exactly working the way I planned, but people sitting through the meetings won't really get it until they actually go through the process, and then they'll click and they'll, oh, I thought competencies were working differently. I had it organized different in my mind. Those kinds of things will come up. It's a process for sure.
And I just want to point out, Michael, if you guys don't know Michael Spall, he's the Moodle administrator for Idaho State University, has done things on a scale that I've never done on a college, at least. So find him in the social sessions when you have questions. He's been an invaluable resource to me, and it's good to see you again, Randy. Or Michael, sorry, I was thinking about Randy too. I was going to mention Randy's in here, and he's a great SQL report writer too. Two of the best Moodlers. Good to see you again, Michael, and Randy as well, who's been all in the chat. So
Hi, Michael.
I knew it was going on. Randy and I are twins separated before birth.
Yes, we are. Later.
all right, so that is the sum of everything I have planned for this Moodle administration. We still got about 20 minutes, so I'm happy to riff on whatever you guys are interested in. If not, you know, do make sure that you attend the social event tonight. We're going to be giving away a lot of moot coins, and we're going to be playing games and stuff. I'll just give you guys the link to that here in the chat as a plug for that deal. Virtual opening gathering. All right, so this is the course that's got the link to it. That'll take you right there. Looks like we're gonna start at 7 o'clock Mountain Time, I think. So yeah, 7 p.m. MT. Join us, have your libations and get your game faces on, and be ready to hang out. Brady, I see you got your hand up. Go ahead and unmute. Tell us what you got.
Yeah, hi there. I actually just started in an LMS admin role here at Missoula on Monday. Monday was my first day. Thank you. So this has definitely been a good opportunity to kind of see sort of how Moodle operates from the admin side. But I saw it mentioned in the chat earlier, but how much of what we've discussed today in this session is handled by an SIS? We have Banner. So like how much of what we've talked about would be covered by that?
It depends on how the SIS integration is configured. So at Carroll, the creation of courses and user accounts is handled. Hold on. The creation of user accounts is handled by the SIS, and student enrollment into courses is handled by the SIS integration. But teacher enrollment into courses is handled by a CSV upload, and creation of courses is also handled by a CSV upload. But that's not necessarily the way it has to be. That's just the way that, for various institutional reasons, the way it fell out is that that's how it works right now. But you could easily handle, with an SIS integration, creation of courses, teacher enrollments, student enrollments. It just depends on how you have it set up. So I've seen the whole gamut of like the SIS does everything to the SIS does absolutely nothing. And everything in between. So depending on how that integration is set up, it'll vary from institution to institution. My guess is that you're toward the more full SIS integration side. So I'm guessing your courses are being created, your teachers are being enrolled, your students are being enrolled. Grades might even be getting passed back, although that's a squirrely bit because not everybody uses Moodle properly in an institution. So yeah, all and or none of the above is the really unhelpful answer to that question.
Yeah, that's been my impression too. And then we also have a team of designers that are kind of dedicated to, course layouts and helping faculty with that, which is part of my team, but not necessarily what I'm doing. So I'm still trying to kind of learn the landscape, but I think what you said is probably true, that Banner handles a lot of what we're doing.
Yeah, I know a lot of those designers over at You guys got a really good team over there. Who is going to pipe up? Go ahead.
Yeah, so Idaho State University is actually a Banner school, and we use the plugin from Eric Merrill from Oakland University in Oakland, Detroit. And that's not the only way to get grades over. So you guys might not be using that, may or may not be using that. But our departmental email is itrc@isu.edu. So, I mean, if you want to, you can shoot us an email and we can set up a meeting and talk about Banner to Moodle stuff, how we do it compared to how you guys already do it or anything like that. Because some of the setup is on the Banner side. So your Banner people need to know what they're doing too.
Great. Thanks, Michael.
Yep.
All right. Any other questions? Okay. Each one of you is absolutely the best. Keep that in mind. And I expect to see you guys in the social hour. And thanks a lot for joining. You've been a great audience, and I really, really appreciate it.
Woohoo! So just to